What's good, YouTube? So in today's video, we are going to be playing Skate, but today is not going to be like my last video on this game because, as you know, we are now in Season 1 of Skate, but it is not looking good for this game. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about with this game because, honestly, as much as I do dislike a lot of things about this game, I will be sad if the servers of this game get shut down. So, as you know, we're in Season 1, just said that, but basically, you guys probably know this, but the player count is literally dropping daily. When the game first came out, we were averaging, I don't actually know the exact number of players, but we were averaging quite a bit of players. Right now, the player count is sitting at around something like 20,000 to 10,000 per day, and there's just a lot of bugs going on with the game, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on with EA in general. That we're going to cover in this video. But the player count is dropping pretty fast in this game because a lot of people are just experiencing game-breaking bugs. A lot of people aren't playing the game because they're just getting stuck in queues, or like they can't open the game because they'll get put in a queue, and then once the game finally launches, they get kicked out of the game. I've had this happen to me a couple times where I'll sit inside of a queue for like 10 minutes, and then once I finally get accepted out of the queue, I'll get ready to play the game, and then my game will crash, and then I'll fucking be pissed, so I'll keep launching the game over and over, and every single time it'll do this glitch. So there was a couple days where I just couldn't even launch Skate, and a couple YouTubers like Milky were actually experiencing the same type of problems. And a lot of people just aren't able to play the game, and it also just looks bad because people are choosing not to play the game because of how much bugs are in the game. You know, and it sucks because I do think this game has a lot of potential, and even if this game does suck, it really is the only good skate game we have right now. Skater XL came out, what, 2020, I would say, and don't get me wrong, I do like that game, but that game is getting such minimal support from the developers, and there's just not much to do in that game. Session is, I'm sorry, but the skating in that game just feels clunky and really robotic. I've spent the last year trying to understand it, and even though I do understand how to do a lot of tricks, I can't make them look good. I just feel like the animations look bad in that game. Skate, I just feel like it looks so perfect, the tricks can be so realistic, and there is, although not a crazy amount of things to do, a lot more things to do than you can in games like Skater XL or Session. You know, when people want to compare this game so bad to Skate 3, but this isn't Skate 3. Like, I'm sorry that this game isn't as good as Skate 3, but this game is still great. They spent a lot of time developing the skateboarding of this game, and at the end of the day, isn't that all that really matters in a skateboarding game? We can all agree that the skating is miles better than it was in Skate 3. Now, I won't say that necessarily the map or the gameplay or some of the features are better than Skate 3, but we can all agree that the skating is definitely quite a bit better than Skate 3. But the second thing I want to go ahead and talk about that sucks for this game is the fact that EA is actually right now being bought out. So they're being bought out by an Arabian company. So basically EA will no longer be owned by who normally owned their company. Now, not a lot of people are actually talking about this, especially people that are talking about the downfall of this game. Well, not really the downfall, but you know what I mean. Basically, they're getting bought out. Now, this sucks because they're going to see Skate, and they're going to say, okay, well, nobody likes this game. This game's getting a lot of hate. It's not doing good, the player count's low, all sorts of things like that, and they're just going to shut down the servers because they don't realize how much this game actually means to the community because it's not the same people that originally were in control of EA. You know, don't get me wrong, I do think that Skate 4 is in a bad spot right now when it comes to bugs and problems and people disliking the game, but I do think this game has potential, and I do think they could change this game. If people give this game time, like a year, to actually get a lot of content in and maybe a map expansion and all the features that the community asked for, and they fully finish the whole graphical changes to make this game appear more realistic, then this game will be what everyone asked for. You just have to give it time. You know, it sucks that I even have to talk about this game potentially getting shut down when this game isn't even old. I mean, the first playable early access was released, what, less than 2 months ago? Like a month and a half ago? And we're already concerned about this game potentially getting shut down and ruined forever. The third thing that I want to talk about with this game is that people need to take into consideration that Full Circle isn't the hugest company. Don't get me wrong, they're probably bigger than, you know, the company that was responsible for Skater XL and Session, or the companies, but they're definitely not a big company. It is not the same amount of people that were making Skate 3, and that's why this game is in a stage of where it is right now. You know, because they've already spent 5 years developing the game, and yes, it sucks that it sometimes feels like they pumped out a game that wasn't necessarily up to standard. If they would have kept developing this game to have it to what people want, they would have spent so much money and they wouldn't have earned enough money. You know, and also taking into consideration of the fact that EA is in debt right now. They're in debt like $50 million, which is insane. That's also part of the reason why they're selling their company, is to, you know, get some of that money back out that they're in debt with. And so they can't just not make any more money on this game. But it also sucks because this game, if it doesn't do good, it's not going to make money. And the new company that's buying out EA is going to be like, okay, well, this game isn't making us money. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much what 90% of all game companies care about anyways, is money. And so they're going to shut down the servers of this game. And honestly, I don't understand why EA decided, okay, we're going to go with a free-to-play route with just a bunch of transactions. Because yes, don't get me wrong, you can make a lot of profit off of transactions. But I feel like with how many people would have bought in Skate 4, if the game was priced at $40 per copy, then that would have been 40 times however many people bought the game, which would have been a lot of profit. Then you could have kept the transactions, just not made them so, you know, like mandated for getting certain things. And then you would still be able to make extra money off of transactions, but you would not have the community mad that there's so many transactions. And you would also make extra money because of, what the fuck was that? Season 1 glitches, bro. I literally tried to do a Manny and then it just fucking broke my spine. Anyway, but what I was saying is that, fucking, if they would have went with the route of charging the game for $40, then, you know, the community would have been happier because there wouldn't be so many transactions in the game. But also, EA would also be doing better because they would have been able to make more profit because each copy of the game costed more. And even if people really heard all the hate of this game, I'm sure people would buy it. And you know, it's weird. So yeah, that's really all I had to talk about in this video, but, you know, if you guys have anything else to share about why this game might be cooked, or why this game might not be cooked, go ahead and comment it down below. But yeah, it is kind of sad, because I shouldn't even have to talk about, you know, the death of this game, when this game isn't even, not even close to half a year old yet. It's not even close to a quarter of a year old yet. So it is kind of crazy to say that things like that, but yeah, that is gonna do it for today's video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and peace.